Welcome back to Age of Fear, lords and ladies, as we get back on the task at hand, and as you can hear, there's definitely something moving about in the depths, so
Just say the word.
Hey,
let's see how we can handle it, shall we?
how may I help?
Yeah.
Really?
I can do that. That's settled.
Just say the word.
Yep, knew this was going to happen. A Mora skeleton. Shoot the one in the back.
Yeah.
There's more of them coming.
Need something?
Settle. Just say the word.
Right, that one's dead as well.
Just say the word. Can do.
Right.
Just say the word.
Over here, yeah, I see you, dude. But I know that was going to happen. Punch it in the face.
Just say the word.
Blood is smeared on the wall in the vague shapes of letters, wherever it was once said as being obscured by crimson handprint. A few bloodied fingernails are embedded into the dirt.
A simple test.
Just say the word.
Go and talk to them. Geico, this young man's face is badly bruised and his gaunt form is covered in a fair threadbare shirt. He watches you shivering with a measure of hope in his eyes. I don't know who you are, but will you help me? Our noble lord at work. Ilda looks pain, our noble lord at work. Geico, he gazes nervously past you at the open cell door. I don't think I can fight my way out. You must be Geico. Nadmar sent me to find you. Nadmar. Geico gives a quiet laugh at this, but if the priest sent you, I thought... Well, I thought he'd leave me here to rot. He wasn't too happy when I left the keep. I told him I could do far more good with Kolzak than as an acolyte. He accused me of joining a band of outlaws. Geico looked down his feet. I guess we were both wrong. I take it you ended up here after assaulting the keep with Kolzak and his men. Yes, he looks away. It seemed a good plan. We got into that incident, and I knew the way, but we were surprised in the dungeons, most of us. You should have seen them. You have seen them fought from their bodies, at least, not their minds anymore, but their souls. The woman down here, Radoric's animancer, her name is Osrey. I've heard her speak sometimes, talking about a cure. Lord Radoric calls her often, but she's not curing anyone. She's only turning men and women into monsters. He shudders. I watched her take the others. I was sure I'd be next. But men and women turn into this evil to cure the Hollowborn. Madness. What can you tell me about Nadmar? Nadmar's been a father to me, really. My actual father was a trader, and he died in a bandit raid when I was young. I don't remember him much. I remember the days after, though, stuck here in Gilded Vale begging for food. Nadmar was a priest of the scattered god back then. He took me in and raised me in the church. I was going to follow in his footsteps even after he converted, and we turned into the twinned god. But I started seeing what happened in Gilded Vale, what Roderick was doing, and Nadmar, he just kept on saying things would work out. That we had to stand by our Lord of the Keep. Kolzak was the only one who seemed to be willing to do anything about it. Instead of well preaching, he smiled sadly. So that's two fathers I've left behind. Tell me about Osrey. There's something not right about her, a bad feeling. I mean, I knew the moment she arrived things would take a turn for the worse. He shivers. as nothing good comes from dealing with animants as unnatural, a lot of them. She's the one who transformed and changed off my friend into monsters. Said she was doing it for the good of Gilded Vale. Glecko clenched his fist, but it's more like the good of her common purse and her sick curiosities. She's dangerous, and who knows what else she's got in her laboratory. I wouldn't go in there. She has a convincing man of spells, no doubt. You're free, make a run for it. Thank you, stranger. I have to get back to the fork. But first, some food and rest. Tell Nadma. Well, tell him I still have the carving of the pale knight he gave me as a boy, and I hope he is well. Good luck, and may the gods keep you safe. Right, so
Just say the word.
let's go and kick the Animancer's backside. Because she is absolutely crazy. We killed him at least. Revenants. So it says we get like full on updated on Revenants. But I haven't been able to find them in the thing. Animated perhaps? This is a glitch and it's just not showing me where they are. Lore, perhaps? Do not know.
Just say the word.
Now this I haven't seen before.
Ouch. Oh, it let out here, did it? Oh, okay.
Stay out of sight.
Nope. Every single time.
I shall be discreet.
Black ooze. Attack it. There's another black ooze down here as well.
Not a problem.
Oh, a lot of black oozes.
Just say the word.
Ouch. Everyone attack them. Kill it quickly.
Death to our enemy!
Ouch. That killed that one off quickly as well.
Just say the word.
Sand, right. Just clearing stuff up really. I mean, half the reason I'm exploring is because I just need the cast, because you don't get XP for killing these things. So I'm literally just clearing them all out for the money side of things.
Light, flame, and sound.
Right, so we're going to clear up this way. Ah, every time.
Nothing will slip past me.
Something over there.
Keep disarming traps.
Just say the word. Storeroom of some sort. Got full camping supplies.
A simple test. That's settled.
Just say the word.
There's going to be something patrolling that room, definitely. From the sounds of it. Let's get this door open. More ruined stuff. And this takes us up to the keep kitchens. Okay. The fact that the keep kitchens are like right next to the horrible place kind of turns your stomach. But I suppose they needed to be close to actually feed people.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm here.
If we're going to go into combat,
What?
get
How
up.
may I help?
Yeah?
Okay. Gonna use a fireball just to clear this room up.
Yes?
Right, everybody come out. Let's go. Tank is warm to the touch. The glass vibrates with a bubbling fluid inside. Blood and flecks of dried flesh encase the restraints.
Leave it to me.
Some money.
I'll go on ahead.
Money, and plenty of honey all wrapped up in a £10 note. That's a very... The cat and the owl and the pussycat, which is a very early children's rhyme. A woman caught mid-step across the room turns her head to face you. Long curls of black hair frames her face, one side of which is flecked with green liquid. Her gaze she sets upon you is eerily intense. It holds an eerie intensity. More interruptions. The woman sets down the book she holds, smiling faintly. What an interesting time we're having of late. So many uninvited guests. I suppose you're to thank. I suppose I have you to thank for all the damage in my work. It took time to get those people back on their feet, you know. Osric frowns. What is it you're doing here? Who are you? I took a wrong turn. Perception's not 12, okay. I've come to see Lord Roderick. Who are you? Someone who doesn't take kindly to interruptions, he smirks. You must be one of the Kulsak's little rebels. Does he recruit you all out of the Black Hound, ply you with drink and ask you to ignore the consequences of your actions? No matter, what concerns me is to curse upon good adverse people. I am on the cusp of great discovery, and it's not Kulsak who undermines me, she eyes you. You might have chosen more powerful allies. You're as monstrous as the creatures you make. Yeah, she is pretty bad, and she has a way with words. She's pretty, evil. Let's just kill her. What's a smile fades swiftly. Very well, if it battles you long for, I'm happy to indulge. Perhaps Lord Roderick will show me greater favour by bringing your corpse as well. Okay, fine. You want to do this, lady? Eat a fireball. And we'll do... No, That's not going to be as good as I thought it was going to be. Cast that. You can cast that. Hunter's mark her, and we'll send that guy after her. And you hit her with that. You hit this one. Right, that's worked. She's been marked. He's got that up. And we'll hit her with necrotic. Hit her with pinning. Switch out to your axes and fight this thing here. You go and beat on her as well. Right, mage is down, which is always my biggest concern. Right, she's dead.
Just say the word.
Still got our diplomatic and benevolent traits low, which is the thing I was worried about. I didn't want them to get high, just because I was doing the right thing and killing her ass. Not particularly interested in what she had. We gained rusted iron cell key.
Just say the word.
Like how it's like, oh, it's stealing. We're stealing from a dead person. Black cat.
Just say the word.
At first you think this poor creature is diseased, for which black fur seems to have fallen off its hide in patches, but when the cat turns to investigate a fly on the wall, you note that the entire section of its ribcage is open to the air. Some of its tail has rotted away altogether, and you reveal a few jagged vertebrae. This doesn't seem to bother the cat much. It lets out a trailing purr and rubs against your sin. Get away from me, beast. The cat scrambles clear of you and resumes licking its decaying paw as nothing had occurred. Ooh. I mean, I don't like animal cruelty, but that's just nasty. I'm sorry, it's not a cat, it's just a animated abomination. Ew.
Just say the word.
Right, so now how do we get here?
Marvel's fire casts light in dark places.
I thought there'd be something like a switch or a lever. No switch or lever, is it? We didn't have a key. I suppose that the key was to let him out the basement.
Just say the word.
On the hunt.
Okay, obviously there's supposed to be a lever or something that will open the door, lets you into the office, but that doesn't seem to be working. Okay. Ah, we got that mission done anyway.
You must gather your party before venturing forth.
Come on. Always a slow one.
Just say the word.
Right, we'll get that done. Priest, what's been going on? Confront the Lord with his crimes.
Leave it to me.
Surprised people are not more sort of like horrified that I'm killing everyone at this point in time. I mean, I've left enough dead bodies lying around to cause an effect. Right, okay. Here he is.
Just say the word.
You've returned. Have you found him? Are there any survivors? Geico is safe. He asked me to tell you that he's kept the carving you gave him as a boy. Nadma's eyes widen. With sudden vigour, he rushes forward to grasp your arm. Oh, thank the gods, thank you. I did not think you could. That is, I feared. He shakes his head. I did not want him to meet the Pale Knight so soon. Nadma pulls away, collecting himself here. What I promised in return. He pulls a large iron key from his pocket of his robe and hands it to you. This will open a door in the scriptorium. He points west, and from there you can reach the chaplain, Lord Roderick, without encountering quite as many guards. Take this too. I hope I have little worth to offer. Better give something of use. I would entreat you before you go. Despite his shortcomings, Lord Roderick follows the gods of obedience, and he has Gilded Vale's best interest in mind. It may be that with time he can achieve what he desires. Please consider this before you turn to violence. I thought you favoured Corsac as Lord of Radric's Hold. I favour him as he is a man of vision, but Corsac has a hunger in him for rule, even if to good purpose. He is not led by his faith. Still, he is my friend, and I am willing to assist Corsac in restoring divine favour to the lands of Gilded Vale, should Lord Radric fall, that is. What did the key open? Right, okay. It's basically, that was a repeat of the same thing, wasn't it? Lord of Barren Lands. Blah de blah. We'll get through here. I believe the key will open this place. We'll funnel in. Close the door after us because we obviously don't want to be followed. We'll jump into the basement. Well, not the basement, it's going to be... Yes, I wonder. You should have said that it took us... Oh, okay, so it took us across here. So this is the main room. Okay. I get the feeling this is going to be a big fight. If that's the case, I might end this episode a little early, just because I don't think if it is a big fight, we get it done before the end of the episode. So what I shall do is I'm going to read a book. Actually, that is a pretty powerful scroll. If that's the case, put that in there. We'll read one of the books. Deerwood Part 5, The Prolificacy of Anime. Deerwood Part 4, Haderach Rebellion. Herat. So that's 4, 5, and 6. Deerwood Part 4, Haderach Rebellion. The royal community loved Admeth Haderach, considering him the best leader they'd ever had in Adria. The Furking ranked against his usurpation of imperial authority, but no longer had the necessary power to truly undo anything that had happened. 2 years later, in 2664 AI, the Furjung found allies willing to explore the ruins against the treaty conditions and plundered them for other artifacts. This was done discreetly at first, but then eventually they became careless. The agents were discovered and arrested, but there was no evidence pointing back to the Furjung. Admeth suspecting the truth used Glanfaffen, Blessowing, Mindhunters to the progenitors of modern-day ciphers to investigate the matter thoroughly. With this method of interrogation, he discovered a chain of evidence all the way back to the Furjung. While he investigated, more rural communities suffered retaliatory attacks against Glenfaffens. Armed with this new information, Admeth worked with Glavin Medher, the new leader of the Glenfaffens and the rural communities, to deal with to prevent the Furjung's agents from entering the ruins. There was a back and forth between the two groups, both sides engaged in this and various political, economic and military maneuvers to try and gain the upper hand. Furviong was at a disadvantage in this game though, as he preferred to assert his authority without causing an uproar. Eventually Admeth had enough. He convinced 7 of the 9 Earls to join him, and they severed their allegiance to the Furtiong, declaring themselves independent and decree they would govern themselves just as the Valen Republics did 20 years prior. Admeth told the people that he was tired of the politics that made the nobles rich while putting the people of the Deerwood at risk. He declared himself a duke, again modelled after the Valen Republic's governing structure, and called the Deerwood a free Platinate, thus beginning the War of Defiance in 2668 AI. The war lasted 4 years and caused countless casualties, including Admeth himself. The Deerwoodians, with their Glanfathan allies, were able to persevere. Glanfathan astrologists, alongside the Deerwoodian forces and members of the ad hoc Knights of the Crucible Militia, won the Battle of Defiance Bay, which became the last battle of the war and left Deerwood free from Adrian Imperial rule. 7 of the 9 Earls of Deerwood survived, unified in purpose, signed a treaty of the Furviong of Adia. The war gave Deerwood a greater sense of unity between its citizens and their Glanfathan allies. Admeth Hadrat was revered by both groups, and the Deerwoodian enjoyed the first time a nationwide fellowship of independence. Perseverance and sacrifice. Yernwood and Shearsaran were dissolved and incorporated into surrounding earldoms, leaving 7 earldoms: Hellsgate, The Grass, Tensforth, Northwick, Coldwater, Asphalt, and Bellreach. New Deernwood was renamed Defiance Bay and would become the seat of power for the new Duke in Bellreach. The new Duke rule began in 2672. Okay. The proliferancy of Animancy. Animancy, outlawed while under Adia's rule, was technically no longer taboo after Hadrat's rebellion. Academics began to study again in earnest in 2681. By 2697, there was almost 40 academics actively researching the field, both in the Deerwood and the Valen Republics. Even though no significant results had been discovered, a tragic breakthrough of sorts happened in 2704. An animancer working in Bellreach accidentally shattered the souls of about a dozen volunteers who had been helping him. In retaliation for the death, citizens of the area stormed his house and killed him. The Earl of the region, not wanting to waste resources or anger the locals anymore than had already were, did nothing to find the head of the vigilante mob, but neither did he outlaw animancy. To ensure their own safety, most animancers moved from rural areas where they were studying and settled in Defiance Bay. Many of those choosing to emerge and wealthy district chose the emerging and wealthy district of Brackenbury as their new home of operations. While there were still a few breakthroughs and study of animancy continued for the next 24 years, it quickly slowed as it became cost prohibitive and complicated. The more people learned about it. Most animators couldn't afford to continue research without the support of donations or gifts from wealthy individuals and organizations. In 2737 AI, some animators, desperate to continue their studies, seeing no other means of furthering their research, entered the forbidden ruins of El Glanfath to further their research. They discovered some such sites had strange artifacts that seemed to bear affinity to soul essence, and began to prod at the device for further insight. Even with continued research, they are unable to tell quite what they had discovered. Eventually, they were found by Glanfathans, who captured some of them, demanding they be punished for their crimes. The Deerwoodian authorities, in order to maintain their treaties and keep the peace, had no choice. They allowed the animators to be executed according to Glanfathan tradition. This led the Duke to make an irresistible proclamation: the study and practice of animancy on or even near sacred Glanfathan site was punishable by death. In 2780, in order to solidify relations again with the Glanfathans, the Deerwoodian government allowed some animators to begin training and experimenting in conjunction with Glanfathan mind hunters and native ciphers. This was exchange of information. The animators documented the secrets of the mind hunters' powers. The mind hunters learned new techniques from connections which assisted them in taking their powers to a level no Glanfathan had seen before. The ciphers, no longer wary of the animators' intentions, trusted them to such a level that they convinced the Glanfathans to give some animators limited access to some of the 8 training sites where the Glanfathans practiced. The Amphafs of the Glanfathan tribes opened the training grounds to the animators. They were not allowed inside, as this was strictly forbidden, but but general allowance by the Glanflathans was seen as a breakthrough in relations between the Dewoodians and El Glanfath. Over the next 8 years, the Animanters' research would continue unabated. With the exception of some minor squabbles, there had been no minor strifes between the two groups for almost 120 years. Interesting. But we shall continue next time, folks. If you have liked, please press the like button. If you wish to subscribe, please press the subscription button. You can follow me on Twitter, you can follow me on Steam, or you can leave a comment in the comment section and I get back in contact with you. I've been Cornish-Knight, this has been Pillars of Eternity, and I shall see you all next time for the next episode of Gwen Ravenheart's Adventures with Space Pig. There you can see him right there. Goodbye.